Algebra tiles are a really good way if you struggle with seeing equations on paper and you're like, frick, I don't understand this algebra tiles. I don't understand these algebra equations. Algebra tiles are a good way for you if you want to try and understand how these things work, how these equations work. So if so, let's just look at one. It's kind of hard to explain, but just look at it. Okay, this equation would be written 3x minus 3 equals 6. But some people are like, I don't get it. It's all, I can't see it. And so this is a way to see it visually. All right, you have 3x's and 3 negatives on the right side. To get rid of the 3 negatives, you need 3 positives. So you put in 3 positives on the left side. But if you put in 3 positives on the left side, you always, always, always have to do the same thing to the right side of the equation. Let me say that again. Whatever you do to the left side of the equation, you have to do to the right side of the equation. So if I put 3 positives in here on the left side of the equation, I have to put 3 positives in on the right side of the equation. All right? Whatever you do to the left, you have to do to the right. And the way I always think about it is if you owe someone a buck, this poor sap has a dollar weighing him down. If you borrow a dollar from one of your friends and then you pay him back a dollar, your after all that stuff, after you borrowed a dollar and paid a dollar back, your balance is zero. And zero times anything equals zero, so those things just cancel out. And so the same thing in math. We have a negative red and a positive yellow. So those things just cancel out, right? So that cancels out to zero. And whenever we have zero, we can take it out of the equation. That's the point of these algebra tiles, is to set things up so that we can get rid of stuff and divide stuff up so that we find the answer. And so all three of those things disappear because they're a negative and a positive, and we could just simply take those out of the equation. So now we have 3x's is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 yellow tiles. This is the part that gets people confused sometimes. Each of these tiles, so we have 3x's on the left side and 9 number tiles on the right side. We have to split them up into the amount of x's we have. So since we have 3x's, we have to split those 9 yellow tiles into 3 equal groups. And so the 3 equal groups of 9 equals 3. And so we have 3 ones in the first group, 3 ones in the second group, and 3 ones in the third group. And so the final answer actually comes out to be x equals 3. And you can see it visually like that. Each x gets 3, and so that's the final answer. Let's look at another one. We have x plus 2 equals negative 12. X plus 2 3x plus 2 equals negative 12. Again, how do we get rid of the two positives on the left side? We put in 2 negatives. And since we put in 2 negatives on the right side, we also have to put in 2 negatives on the left side. Whatever you do to the right side, you also have to do to the left side. So we put 2 negatives in on the left, we had to put 2 negatives in on the right. And like I said, when we have a positive one and a negative one, they both just cancel out to zero because a positive dollar plus a negative dollar equals no dollars. So those things just go away. So we have 3 x's, and we need to split all those red ones into 3 equal groups. And so when we split up the three x's into 3 separate groups so that we get all the x's by themselves, each x has 4 negatives, but there's 2 negatives left over. We have a remainder. And so we need to split each of the ones. We need to split each of those negative ones left over into 3 groups. Let me say that again. We need to split each of the negative ones into 3 groups, represented by those 3 little. And so each one of those things equals 1/3. All right, because the whole thing is 1, negative 1. So each of the little yellow things equals negative 1/3. And so we take each one, and we take a third of each and put it in each group, and then we do that again for the other negative 1. And so each group now has negative 4 and 2/3. Negative 4 and 2/3. All right? So the final answer is x equals negative 4 and 2/3. Try this one on your own. We have another problem. We have 6x's plus 3 equals negative 9. Just pause the video and try and solve this problem, and then I'll go over it. All right, I hope you actually paused the video and tried to solve it, but if you didn't, let me show you. If you got confused, let me show you how to do it. We have 3 positives on the left side. Let's take out those 3 positives with 3 negatives. They cancel out to 0. And we also have, and whatever we do to the left side of the equation, we also have to do to the right side of the equation. So we put negative 3 over there, and we put negative 3 over here. So now we have 12 negatives on this side, and those other 3 just cancel out. So they're gone now. Now we have 6x, all right, and we have negative 12 on the right side. We have a total of negative 12 tiles on that side. So we need to split all the x's up so that they're each in their own group, and then we split each, and then we put each of those negative 12s into equal groups. And so when we split them up into equal groups, each group gets each x gets negative 2, and so the answer is x equals negative 2, and that's a very simple way to try and solve equations if you have trouble doing it the way that your algebra teacher shows you how to do it. This is just a more visual way to do it.